All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this video. I've been asked to do this. We did a soft launch of Jenny AI last week. We're still kind of ramping up in here, but one thing we did was we did a Zoom call mainly catered towards loan officers on how they can work for Salva owners in Jenny AI, and we got a lot of interest in that. A lot of folks wanted us to send them the recording of the Zoom. I decided just to do this instead. The Zoom call was great, but it was very long. It went way over an hour, and you would have to listen through a lot of war stories, and I was rambling a lot, I'll admit it, and people were asking questions. So I just want to kind of sum all that up and give you guys a much quicker video. So yes, besides being the founder of Jenny I was, as I mentioned, or did I mention, it's late. I'm sorry, it's almost 1 in the morning. I'm trying to get this done. I was a loan officer in the Austin, Texas market. I was very successful. I had a really good career doing loans, and it was all because of this. It was all because of this. I could credit pretty much, besides family and friends, every loan I did came because of my FSBO marketing efforts. Now I built a referral network with agents, of course, but man, I think almost every agent I worked with came to me. I never called on agents. I never cold called agents. I never did the traditional loan officer networking to agents thing. I just did my FSBO stuff, and they came to me. They would call off my signs, call off flyers. What is this? What are you doing? Hey, I just met that seller. They think the world of you, or are you what's your relationship with them? I would get those kind of calls all the time, and that's how I built my referral network. And the smart agents got it because they were a huge benefactor of what I was doing because they ended up with the majority of my buyers, and oftentimes they ended up with these sellers because if the seller wasn't successful and they were already working with me and I had a relationship, I could refer them out to agents. And that's what I did. And eventually my wife got her license and we double dipped on things and she became one of my referral partners. I was referring, well, she was one of the ones I was sending referrals to, and we did real well with that. So that's my quick background. But yeah, I wanted to do this real quick, and I'm gonna jump right into the platform. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Jenny introduce. I'm gonna have Jenny introduce the product right here. And by the way, she's on my phone and she just responded to me. All right, so here we go. Let's let Jenny kind of give you a quick introduction of how for sale by owners work in the Jenny AI platform.
Looking to work FSBOs? Solid choice. FSBO listings are a total goldmine for future purchase loans and immediate buyer leads, but most loan officers ignore them. By using FSBO Direct, you position yourself as the financing expert before a seller ever even talks to a real estate agent. Think about the long game. You're building a relationship with the private seller right now. By providing them with elite tech to help sell their home, you ensure you're the first person they think of to handle the financing for their next purchase. So yes, that seller's next loan is your first opportunity at winning a loan by working with them. So here is how I help you dominate this untapped market. We use AI-powered signs, flyers, and landing pages to capture buyer inquiries directly. When a potential buyer calls or texts the number on the sign, I handle the intake, provide the property details, and send that lead information straight to you and the seller in real time. It's high-volume lead generation that feeds your pipeline while you sleep. Here's another advantage of working FSBOs that most people completely overlook. Leverage. Think about it. Every listing generates a pool of buyer leads, but only one person can actually buy the property. That leaves you with a gold mine of unattached, active buyers. Since you're the one capturing those leads through me, you can hand-deliver them to the agents you want to win over. It's the fastest way to turn a maybe from an agent into a yes. But it gets even better. Statistics show that many FSBOs eventually realize they need a professional listing agent. Because you've already established a relationship as their tech and financing expert, you are in the perfect position to refer that listing to your own network of agents. When you become that loan officer, the one consistently feeding your agents both buyers and high-quality listings, you aren't just another vendor. You are their most essential business partner. This isn't just a theory. This exact method was proven and perfected by our founder during his time as a top-producing mortgage originator. He built this platform to give you that same unfair advantage. Also, because you are working directly with a private seller, You also benefit from zero RESPA friction. You can collaborate freely and provide as much value as you want without the usual professional referral constraints. Plus, we've included shared savings. You or the seller receive a $20 discount on every listing pass. It's time to unlock the market everyone else is overlooking. Click the button below to access your FSBO marketing assets and start building those direct-to-seller relationships today. Now let's get to work.
All right, there you go. There's Jenny. She did a great job there. So I think I can just stop the video now, right? She's explained it all. No, actually, she did hit all the kind of the important points here. But I'm going to go ahead and get into trying to answer some of these questions I was getting. One of those is like, what do I say when I call a seller? How do I approach this? Well, I put together this FSBO manual and scripts, and it's free for you to have. You can log in and get it. There's a PDF version as well. And it just kind of gives you an overview of the strategy, why this works. Well, guys, it works because the buyers go to where the homes are. The excitement's in the homes, not the loans. That saying right there is what made my career. That became very, there's actually a backstory to where that saying came from, but it's true. And, most traditional loan officers, and probably you up to this point, have kind of set back in your career and just, you get your purchase business from waiting on agents to bring you the business. A lot of people do that. But man, with this product, you're going buyer first. You're getting in front of them even before the agents are. And this market's continually changing. But this strategy is proven. It worked for me. It'll work now. I think it'll even work better now. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But yeah. So I won't ramble too much about what's on here, but I do lay out the strategy. It's very, very simple. And then I have the initial, like if when you're calling a seller, this is what you do, this is what you say. Read it over. I hit on a lot of points here. Now, when you call a seller, you're not going to say all this. You're going to kind of, you want to put everything in your own words. So you don't want to read it word for word. But one thing I'll say is you should never, ever have caller reluctance calling a FSBO seller. Never. You're not calling an agent. You're calling a seller. You're calling to do them a favor. And when you have that mentality and you have that confidence, it's going to get easier and easier. And you're going to actually have fun doing this because they're going to detect that in your voice. So, matter of fact, our first guy that's kind of venturing into this, loan officer, he hit me up today. He's like, yeah, I called my first seller. Is actually, she was at work, but she's very interested in this. She just didn't have time to talk. She's working. I'm like, well, there you go. That's a seller right there. If you were a buyer, she wouldn't have had time to talk to you either. So, that's how this works. So we got the scripts there. You can modify it how you want. Yeah, I got a couple objections in here. I wouldn't worry too much about seller objections. This one was kind of more common, and I got to think about it. And that was my typical response. And I wasn't being um, cocky or arrogant. I was being confident. And this was my response. Yeah, I got to think about it. Okay, well, you got 10 seconds because I'm not calling you back. That was my attitude. I'm a full-time loan officer, man. I mean, my time's limited, and I can only offer this to a select number of sellers. Your property's in a good location, good price range. I think we can generate some buyer activity. Like I said, I market directly to home buyers. I'm not a real estate agent. You're not, in my case, I didn't charge them anything. You're not paying anything. I don't get a commission. I'm just doing this to help you and to help me. I get my mortgage business out of it. So I can only do so many of these a month. Are you in or not? I ain't calling you back. And more times than not, all right, what do you got? And they would talk to me. Got some other stuff here. What's the catch, etc. Yeah, read this over. You become the green light specialist. Read what that's about. That one I used a lot. Also, I'll write this one down. And I would tell us the sellers and buyers that are calling me off these things. I am a private sale. I'm a loan officer that specializes in private sale transactions. And what does that mean? Well, that means I do a lot of loans where there's no real estate agents involved. Okay. When you don't have agents involved, there's some things that you need to make sure are being done. And, typical stuff like, make sure inspections are done, the contracts, the buyer has access to all those things. If you're representing that buyer as their lender, now it's very clear. I had to be very clear about that. If I am their loan officer, that's what I do. Okay. So if it's my buyer, I make sure everything's done. But just obviously, we're not doing real estate. We're not practicing real estate without a license. Never give anything count opinions or anything that only a real estate agent I would could do. I was very clear about that. I'm not a real estate agent. If you need advice on anything like that, I've got several. I've got some good ones I can refer. So yeah. Anyway, read this over. Talk about the referral plan too. Read about that. You will, if you do this right, you will be the loan officer in your market that agents are going to love because you're consistently referring them not only buyers, but you'll also be in a position to refer them sellers, listings. If you do this right, you do what we tell you to do, you're going to be getting business from the seller themselves. A lot of these sellers are moving somewhere and they're going to buy something. They're going to need it. They're going to need lending on the other, a loan on the other side. And you should be that loan officer. I was a lot, probably on the, I would have to say, with most of the sellers I worked with, if they were indeed uh, buying again, needing a loan, and were moving to well, in my case, if they were staying within Texas, that's where I did loans. I think I got the loan more times than not. I think I can confidently say that. But anyway, so keep that in mind too. And once they become your borrower, they go from your seller to your borrower, then you're going to be like, hey, we need to get your home sold. And you might push them to an agent. Hey, let's just get this on the market officially and hook them to somewhere. So, um, there we go. You can read the rest of that, but I did get in there and it's right. It's actually in several places. So when you go in under FSBO marketing, you've got this right here, the FSBO manual and scripts. You also have a landing page that you can share with sellers. If you send them this, if you're calling sellers and they don't answer, I would be like, yeah, you didn't answer your phone. If I was a buyer, I would probably be on to the next property. A lot of buyers do not leave messages, but I've got a solution for that. And I'm going to text you something right now. Check it out. I'm a loan officer, however you want to word that. I'm a lender, but I'm going to text you and then text them your sign up thing, and they can play the video. Jenny pitches herself for about a minute or two on how she works for sell by owners. All right, so that's pretty easy. Same thing with flyers. We have a print flyer that if you're going to go door knocking, if you see a FSBO, go door knock. Actually, it was very fun. I was always excited about what I was doing, and the sellers noticed that. I'm like, I'm real excited, man. I want to help you guys out. I love helping sellers save a commission and work with sellers directly. It's so much fun. So you got this flyer here. You can give them out. Heck, give this to your agents too. If your agents are out in the field and they see a FSBO, tell them to go drop it off, and they'll be the one you'll be referring to when you get leads off that property, right? And by the way, when I say when you get leads off the property, always be loyal to the sellers first. I always was. If you get legitimate interest from somebody that wants to buy that property, don't just steer them to one of your agents. Now, what you could do, I did do this, and I told the sellers this. If you're not real sure, if they're kind of like, well, we're kind of looking around, at that point, I would immediately refer them to one of my agents just to protect my position with them. And also um, the seller, too, because a lot of times, if they have some interest in the FSBO, but they're looking around, the next sign they're going to call or ad or whatever they're online, the chances are they're going to be calling an agent, and that agent's going to hook them up, in a sense they're going to, or hook them in. I'm going to word that. They're going to basically try to grab them as their client, and at that point, you're going to lose them because they're going to be referring them to their loan officer. And that actually happened to me before I figured that out. Like, oh, I need to be referring these people to agents right away. So you definitely want to do that. But what I would tell my agent base that I was referring these people to, hey, this guy came off my FSBO program. He's kind of still interested in that house. Call him up, work with him, but just FYI, if he does decide to buy that property, you're out of the picture. It's just how it is. The seller, I've already promised the seller, yeah, that you wouldn't be trying to get paid on that because you had nothing to do with us getting that guy in the door to that seller. But if he decides to move on or go keep looking, then yes, by all means, he's your client. All right, so that's how a lot of this works here. So you've got your flyers, your scripts here. You're pretty much good to go. The other question I was getting to was FSBO leads. Like, how do I get in front of buyers, or excuse me, how do I get in front of sellers? Well, you get in front of to get in front of buyers, you got to get in front of sellers. But yeah, there's several ways to do this. I recommend signing up for one of these services. We actually have linked in here Buy Owner Daily. And I worked with these guys personally when I was doing loans. They were real good guys. They're out of Utah. Good service, very competitively priced. I think they're now at $35 a month for some places. It's more than one county. It just depends on the market. If you're in a big market, but you'll have plenty of FSBO leads in a market generally. So, and you can do a free trial to kind of see how it works out. But what's really valuable about these guys for me personally was it's easy. It's easy to organize. You get the phone number. Typically get you're going to get the address of the property. You're going to get those things. But the big thing was when these guys get the lead, they find them in different places, and that seller has just put their number out there to be called. Like they've just done it. So these guys have just gotten that information, which means that seller hasn't been advertising before that property. So the cool part about that is when you get this you get this to your inbox in the morning, you're one of the first ones to call them for anything. And that's important, because if you wait a few weeks, if they've been on the market a couple of weeks trying to sell by owner, they've already been beat up by agents and everybody else trying to sell them things. So just keep that in mind. Buy Owner Daily, I recommend them. There's also RedX, there's also LandVoice. There's several out there, but I recommend Buy Owner Daily personally. All right, so that's how you get FSBO leads. Now, of course, you can call them off. You can go to Zillow and call them there too. That's doable. All right, so let's talk about how the pricing works, and then also how do you get them into the platform. All right, so very, very easy. I'm actually logged in as a real loan officer. She's actually a client of ours. She's a local person here, but I'm using her profile as a demo. This is not actually her account. I just used her as a demo here. So Rebecca, if you see this, let's get you a real account. But yeah, let's to add a listing, you just basically hit add listing. You're going to put in an address of the property. Now, keep in mind the property is not at this point, the property is not technically on the market. It's not in the MLS, so to speak. It's a FSBO. So you're not going to have a lot of data out there, but our system will search for any public data and pull it in. And in this case, that's a property I used to live in. And yeah, it's correct. 1588 square feet is correct. Taxes, I'm not sure about all that. You'd have to verify it. But this will kind of give you a head start on the property. And so what you do is you just put in the seller's information there. You put their name, email, phone number. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'll show you outside. And then you kind of just give them a head start, and they can actually finish all this. You can actually hit generate with AI. The AI will kind of look at what's public data and give you a head start on a property description. Now, one thing I'm going to do with this, and I think we must do this, and it just came to me earlier today as I was doing another call. I would start off every property description with, for more information and to schedule a showing, call my personal assistant, Jenny, at 442-867-5309. I would put that in the very beginning. So no matter where this listing is online, that phone number is right there to start capturing those buyers. And I would also tell the seller, yeah, you want to, whatever your phone number is in Zillow, assuming you can change it to that Jenny number so that you're getting those calls as well. So yeah, you'll hit continue there. Once all that's in, the next thing it's going to take you to is photos. You can upload one picture, or if you have any pictures. If not, then pass that and then save it. And then the listings will appear like this in your dashboard. Now you can get your seller involved here. Now at this point, nobody's paid anything, just to be clear about that. Let's go ahead and share it with seller. So now I want my seller to be able to log in, and I want them to be able to finish adding the listing, adding the pictures, etc. So I'm going to do that. And right here, claim your FSBO listing. So I got the address right here. I just grabbed one picture. It's already got the name. Of course, that's my personal information here. But that would be the seller's information. And then all they have to do is create a password, claim listing, and then they get an account and they log in. Their listing's already there, and then they can kind of continue where you left off. That's one way to get sellers in here. The other way is what I mentioned here, the landing page, where they just kind of you refer them there, they sign up, go in, anything they do, you are mentioned as the loan officer. So, um, yeah. So once they have the property in here, then there's not just the call. This is actually more than just an answering service. It's a full-on property marketing system because this is just how I roll. But one thing Jenny does is once she's on a call, she will follow up with the buyer. She does initial text follow-up. She will text them something we call a digital property card. It's actually a property website that when it goes to mobile mode looks like a digital business card. And that's why we call it a digital property card. So if I kind of pull it out like here, you can see what it looks like on a phone. What's cool, it's got a scheduler where they can schedule a tour, schedule a private tour like this. They can choose the date, times, etc. Um, the other thing, you can show the property here. You got all the property information, map, Jenny's information. If they want to call Jenny back on the property or text her, all the other property information. And then your branded information as the loan officer. And if you've actually put a loan app there, you can do that as well. And Jenny will text that out. And then part of that text message is also she's going to mention, FYI, there's a loan officer already familiar with this property. If you are going to be needing mortgage financing, here's the information. And I don't have it pulled up here or a sample of it, but we got a little simple landing page that opens up to. It looks like a digital business card with your profile, with your picture and how to contact you. And if you've got your own loan app or pre-qualification form, you can link that in your profile and that goes there. So, yeah, so that's what it does. So she's working on your behalf as well as a seller. Now you've got full-on marketing assets as well. Besides the property website, digital property card, flyers. Guys, sellers aren't going to have flyers of this quality. They're probably not, unless they're good in Canva but this is a really, really cool flyer. It's got the whole Jenny lead capture stuff on it. It's got you, the loan officer. It's co-branded. There's different versions of it. If they're doing an open house, they can do that. They can add open house dates. They have social media graphics if they want to go ahead and pop this on social media like this. You can do it. They can do it. You have access. You both have access to it all. You actually have access to their account too. So if you go to linked owners, like all the owners, the property owners that have accepted your invitation into the platform and are working it, you'll see them all lined up right here. If you want to peek into their account and see how that looks, what they're seeing right here, okay? And you can kind of see that. You're kind of coming in as them. And then you back out. By the way, this is all agent stuff. We will get into that at another time. That's very robust. All right, so back here, let's get into pricing because that's kind of the main thing you guys are going to want to know. Like, what is this going to cost me? Man, there's so many options to do this. So we put a lot of flexibility here. You can do one-offs. You can do on demand, so to speak. So to do on demand, we call that a listing pass. So if I want to activate a listing pass, I can activate it on behalf of the seller. I can pay for it if I want. The listing pass, FYI, if a seller was just to find us, let's say they just found out about Jenny AI, not from you, but just came here and signed up on their own, that listing pass is $99. And by the way, it's not per month. It's $99. It's a $99 set fee for the life of the listing. And with that, they get 2 hours of call minutes. Okay. And once they go over those 2 hours, then there's additional costs. They get overages, 35 cents a minute. And if they're getting 2 hours in calls, they're doing very good. All right. I'm sure they'll have no problem if they have to pay overages, but they should probably be sold by then. But yeah, that's that. Now, if they're working with you, it's $20 off of that. So they get their lender partner refer discount of $20. So it's $79 and you get that too. So if you're going to activate and you're doing this, if you're working it this way, it's $79 per listing. Okay. Now, so one way you could do this and you never pay a dime is just offer the service, say this is how it is, you get a discount. It's only $79. it's a steal for what you're getting. Sign up, and if they do that, then yeah, you're still partnered with that seller, even though they paid for it. You're getting all the leads too. So if you want to go that route, you can do that. Um, and then you can also refer them to here, the signs and writers. We got a sign and write page. If they want to buy the official Jenny FSBO sign, they can log in here. They can download it as a PDF. They can have it printed out, or they can go to our sign vendor. And that's just one way they can work it. And they can buy the sign. If they buy the sign, so if they do the whole thing, if they pay the $79, they're buying the sign. If they're doing a one sign, it's 38 bucks. If they have their own sign out there, if they want to go buy a generic Home Depot sign, they could do that as long as they put the phone number on there. Use the Jenny number, put that, just write it in there. It's not going to look as good. It may not, I don't know, may not attract as many calls, maybe it will, I don't know. But that's one thing they can do for sure. Now, that's one way you can work it. Okay. So you could either have them pay everything. You can pay some of the stuff. Hey, I'm going to pay for the service. You pay for the sign. Okay. You can go that route. All right. I never charged anything to my sellers. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the minute I started charging them, I was no longer Kevin the loan officer. I was no longer Kevin the lending expert. I was Kevin the FSBO guy that was selling signs and selling services. And I only did that for a very short period of time because my branch manager recommended it. He goes, dude, at least why don't you at least collect 50 bucks to pay for your signs? Um, but I noticed when I did that, the dynamic kind of changed with those guys. So here's what I would do. My recommendation, I've been asked this. What would you do if you were starting this thing? Well, we developed this thing called AI Front Desk. Well, what is that? Well, if you have AI Front Desk, it eliminates the whole need for it eliminates the listing pass mechanism. You no longer need those. You can now add unlimited FSBOs to this platform. And your limitations are the minutes for well, actually, there's no limitations. With that cost, yeah, you get 600 minutes included. Okay. So for the month, for those 30 days, you get 600 minutes for that 197, and you can add as many FSBOs as you want. You can hit them up, say, hey, sign up here. It's going to show you that there's no cost. I'm covering this. I do this because I do this for my loan business. And that's how, and the seller could get everything free. That's another option. I think would probably be the most effective option. Because my experience was when I did not charge the sellers, but I was offering them a really high value product. They really would sit there and think about, how can I refer it? Now, what is the catch on this? Why is this free? Well, it's not free. I'm paying for it. And there's no catch. It's like, this is how I get buyers. I mean, this is how I get my borrowers. Chances are I'm going to get 20 something calls on your property. One of these people are going to need a loan. Hopefully the person that buys your home, I might get three people off of it. If I do one loan, if I just do one loan by doing this for you, I'm more than compensated. So please don't worry about that. Well, do worry about that. Make sure I get that loan. But that's my business. So by the way, that can be anybody's loan. The person that buys the home, one of the multiple callers, but be your loan. By the way, where are you moving to? Are you paying cash for your next home? I was very good at that. So those sellers are possibly going somewhere else. All right. So that's how you work it. Now, also with the front desk, not only do you get to be able to just offer FSBOs, you're actually going to get your own dedicated phone number and your own dedicated IVR, which is a phone menu. So you would go in here and put like, I'm in area code 727. You can search right there, and you can choose the numbers you want. And why do you need your own number? Well, you don't. You don't need your own number, but we're going to offer it to you because you can use it in other forms of marketing because we actually built this AI front desk for real estate agents and agent teams to basically handle all their business, whether but the way it works for you as a loan officer, we tweaked it to work for a loan officer working FSBOs. When they call, it's basically it's going to go to a menu. It's going to say press 1 if you're calling on a listing for sell by owner. Press 2 if you're interested in selling your home by owner and interested in our services. And what that does is that will go to Jenny. She will say, hey, I see you're interested in selling your home by owner. This is what I'm the assistant for so and so, such and such mortgage. This is their system. Yeah, I'm going to send you, and I'm going to go ahead and text you the sign up form, and you can test it out. You can sign up for free and test it out. It's really cool. Check it out, and that's kind of how that's going to roll. The third option is press 3 to get qualified for a loan. We're throwing that in here because you are loan officers, but by the way, we're not putting anything in there. It's going to freak out your compliance department. She's going to keep it very basic. She's going to text them your information. This is how you contact them. If you do have a loan app online, you can actually tie that to your profile here, and uh, and then that'll be a button. She's gonna text out a landing page branded to you on the Jenny Jenny AI domain. We have to be careful about what URLs we text out. They have to be approved. So that's a landing page which will link to your site, link to you, and everything else. All right, so that's how that works. So setting this up is easy. You choose a phone number, choose your dedicated number, continue to check out. It's going to take you to a Stripe. You pay for it, that'll activate it, and then there's certain things you can tweak in there as far as what the menu says. But you don't really need to tweak much of anything, to be honest. But we'll walk you through that too if you need help with that. So that's how I would get started, guys. Where are we at here? I'm just over 30 minutes. All right. I didn't want this to be much longer than 30 minutes, so I'm going to kind of stop it right here. We will be doing calls, Zooms on this for loan officers and of course with agents as well. We'll be doing those. I don't know if we'll be doing them every week, but we'll be doing them. So sign up for Jenny Jenny AI. Go on there, get a free account. Once you do that, you're now in our ecosystem, and become aware of all the new things. And when we have calls and meetings, we'll have some Q&A stuff where you can really just kind of grill me on my experience and my ideas and my opinions on working this product and working FSBOs in general. This because I could write a book on it. Actually, I kind of have, but won't get into that now. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it right here. Thanks, guys, so much for taking this 30 something minutes and watching this. I apologize for the terrible lighting. I'm not in my usual area of making videos. I know I look pretty bad, but even though I've been sharing, I'll stop sharing here. Anyway, but thanks so much, guys. Look forward to seeing you inside Jenny Jenny AI, and I know Jenny looks forward to working with you as well. So thanks so much.